Hello and welcome to NRL 360 Rugby League from every angle. Joining me again, the great Gordon Tallis, the Spinner Journalism, Brent Reid, and Bulldog Richie. And Gordy is back.
Good to be back.
You look refreshed.
Yeah, refreshed.
Had a good break?
Great break. Missed you guys, huh?
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, missed talking a bit of footy.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have a break during the footy season, wouldn't it, Reedy?
Mate, I'd love it. Yeah.
Wouldn't we all love that?
Some of us, yeah.
You can have a break if you want.
Okay, I'm working. It's State of Origin time. Who leaves during
You're a
Origin?
hard worker, aren't you?
No one leaves during Origin except Gordon.
Yeah, okay,
Anyway,
all right.
well done.
The Blues team has been announced. What's our first impressions on the side? I'll come to you. I'll go to Bulldog because you're a Queenslander. I'm going to go to Bulldog.
Mate, I love it. It's the strongest side we've picked so far in all three games. And I'll tell you why. I love the fact that Critter's back on that right side to shore up the edge, which Queensland obviously dominated down that left side at the MCG. I love Bradman best. Big, strong, fast, been there before, done it all. I thought Ethan Strange could have started, but I'm more than happy with Mitch Moses, albeit his club form has been a little down. And the other one I love too is Liam Martin, who I think will go out there for 30 minutes, cause as much chaos as he possibly can, and then he'll hand over the baton to Homoli, who will probably hand out as much chaos as Liam.
No, it's not a bad side, Brad. I like the look of it. There's some risks there, though. I would have brought back Tommy Trbojevic for starters rather than Jack Bostock. And that's not a criticism of Jack Bostock. It's just we all know how good Tommy is and going to Suncorp Stadium. You know, Steve Crichton's had some injury problems. Liam Martin's only a couple of games back. I think we all think Liam Martin should be there, but I still think there is a sense of risk about selecting him, given he hasn't really set the world on fire since he's been back. So it's a good-looking side. I agree with Doggy. It's probably their best side of the series, but I still think there's some question marks around it.
Gordy?
I've never seen a weak New South Wales side, and that's pretty much in form, isn't it, you know? And I do like Bostock. I think he's a really good player. He's one of my favourite players. Best he's in Game 3. I know he's come up with some massive plays, and Critter's one of those great defensives. So
Your favourite?
They've showed their cards, haven't they? They're going to try to probably bully Queensland.
They picked Yoa Lock again for you.
Yeah, I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to be optimistic and just... No, not for that reason.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just going to act like he's starting because I think he will. I reckon he couldn't do it for 3 games in a row. It's impossible. And I'm confident that by Game 3, Laurie has awoken to the reality that Cameron Murray has to start. And I think a reason for that too, for me, is it is still that Penrith-centric, right? You've got Liam Martin coming in, which I think is the right decision. But I still think, you know, I'd love to have Murray there instead of Yo. I don't think the attack works fluently in Origin with Yo and Cleary. What I will say is, I do like the fact that he's stuck with the spine. Now, after their attacking games 1 and 2, you know, would I have done it? Probably not. But what I'm saying here is that New South Wales usually, after performances like they have been in games 1 and 2, they'll drop one in the halves. That's just normally exactly what they do. So they're not doing that. So Laurie's he's getting his full spine members, and he said, "I'm going to stick with you, but you got to repay me." It's as simple as that. And they don't usually
do
it.
That?
I like that because they don't usually do it. And that's it sort of takes me to what Queensland usually do. Queensland will pick and stick even if they don't play well in key positions. They're renowned for it, right? New South Wales are now similar to what Queensland were. No one's given them a chance. Everyone's writing them off. No one thinks they can go up there and beat them after the first 2 games at Suncorp. They've only won a couple of deciders there nearly ever at Suncorp Stadium. And he's stuck with a core group of players in key positions that haven't performed, which we never do. And I like that, you know, because at the end of the day, he's putting the onus back on the players.
Yeah.
And they've got to stand up and deliver for Laurie and for the New South Wales and the state. And you know, as much as I would have made different changes in those positions, I like that they're going against the grain. Loz has gone against the grain here and done something they probably should have done a long time ago, and has put more trust and belief into some of their players.
This Blues side has to go to war up there. This Blues side has to be ruthless. Stuff Queensland, stuff the critics, stuff the condemnation, stuff everybody that wants to bag them. These players have heard the criticism.
The critics have come from New South Wales.
Exactly, Gordon. And that's exactly what I'm saying.
Queensland,
that's the most hurtful
part. So why
part.
to go to war with us?
That's the most hurtful part for this team.
Did you read the Courier Mail before Game 2?
No.
He was away.
That was the main story.
But they've got to play without fear.
That was coming from Queensland.
This is a story I wrote in the Sunday Telly. The 14 captains or previous captains have all united behind Laurie and the Blues. They're going to play without fear, go after the game. No more, not so much Mr. Nice Guy, but rip in. This is it.
It's an ambush. Do you reckon
This is an ambush waiting to happen. And you know what? Of all the upsets that I've predicted over all my years at the Telegraph, 37 years, this is the one I have the most confidence in. New South Wales will win this game.
How many times have you done this, Bob?
New South Wales will win this game. You know what? They'll win it well. Mark my words.
And I'll tell you something, you can't get ambushed in Origin.
Well, you can if you want to believe
No,
these
you
blokes.
can't. You can never get ambushed.
I would say that the decision to keep Mitch in the team, he won there a couple of years ago in a decider, and I was an advocate for keeping Mitch in the team because I think his kicking game's crucial, his experience is crucial, he knows what it takes to win at Suncorp Stadium and decider. I know
he's never been out of form.
Hasn't been great.
Usually he's in better form.
This is their greatest challenge.
Listen, the criticism's been warranted, but everything you're saying is inspirational, and all of us.
They should play that before the game. Please,
it's highly
play that before the
optimistic,
game.
and it needs to happen because if it doesn't happen, they'll lose.
Dogs are talking.
Barking.
I'm telling you, Laurie
mad.
needs to get you into camp. I don't know why he hasn't done it already. Speaking of Laurie Daley, he has explained his huge decision to make 6 changes ahead of the decider.
Yeah, obviously we've got to get it right. Critter coming back into the starting side, he was disappointed he missed out in game 2 through injury. Bardo's had 4 games back from injury, so I think that he brings that experience, and he's used to playing with Nathan on that side of the field. And then Jack, exciting to give him the phone call and let him know that he's in the team. Very good in the air, exciting young player. And then Bradman's been there and done it before. So for those 4 to get an opportunity is exciting. Obviously it's disappointing for the guys we had to leave out. We're confident that this will be the team that'll get the job done. I think we'll make up our mind later in the week what the starting side will be. But at the moment, it's 1 to 17 and certainly leave it open to make some late changes. I haven't locked it in or out, but we'll just sort of wait and see how the week unfolds.
All right, Brian To'o is out of Origin 3, the decider, and Bostock comes in to make his debut for the Blues. This was a huge call and has got a lot of traction today.
Yeah, he could feel a little bit hard done by To'o. He was a little bit unhappy with his hands in game 1. I don't think he's the reason why New South Wales didn't win that.
Look, he played, 17 straight or something? He's been a mainstay in that side and he's done great things for New South Wales, but I don't think you can argue with it. His form hasn't been great in these opening 2 games. As I said, my only argument would have been I would have put Tommy in instead of Jack Bostock. But I don't think Brian To'o, given the way he's played, can dispute that decision.
I mean, people were saying make changes after game 2. We have to make changes. Then you make changes, everyone says, what are you making the changes for? You can't seem to win in terms of Origin selection. He was a bit hard done by Brian because he's been a great player for many years. Yeah. But again, the high balls are key in these days. You've got Mark Nwangandiniwasi on one side, Jack Bostock on the other, both well over 190 centimetres. Bring on the high balls.
I understand why they've made this decision. Do I agree with it? I'm not sure. But it's a... I think everyone's made valid points here. He made errors in game 1, and there's no doubt Laurie's looking for height on the edges with the kicks and how competitive they are now and how effective they are in scoring points, especially at Origin when they're a bit harder to come by. But what I would say is, Bostock playing the centres, going back to the wing, he's going to the left wing. And Brian To'o, there's a lot that you don't notice with his game unless you watch it intently. The carries out of his own end, his fitness to get back, and in Origin it's a different speed. We talk about it all the time. It's different speed. It is fast, it is furious, and you need to be on the whole game, and that you're going to have more kilometres at more speed with more intensity. To'o that's why he's so good. That's why he's won the Brad Fittler 2 times, 3 times. I'm not too sure, and he's been one of the mainstays, one of the best ever wingers for New South Wales. Bostock on debut has to get back now in a different position. He needs to be as good as he is in attack, coming out of his own end as he is in good field position. He's going to get the surprise of his life at Suncorp when he gets on that field. And I hope he aims up. I think he can because he deserves it. He's had a great year. But we can't underestimate the work that To'o does, and is it going to impact us, and are we going to miss him? It's a risk. It's a high risk.
Yeah, but you're going to get some positives with Bostock. As you said, he's bigger in the air, he's taller. He is probably going to be better under the high ball. But there's no doubt the best meter eater, I think, coming out of his own.
Which is like another forward, right?
It is. So.
They'll miss his yardage, there's no doubt about that. But what you lose, you gain Jack Bostock, as you said, with his ability in the air. And that was an area where Brian got exploited in the opening 2 games.
And they've made that call already. It's like they've gone for that.
Loyalty's out the window, Braith. There it
Well,
goes.
hang on.
Laurie's got rid of it.
Hang on.
Loyalty gone.
Hey, they've stuck solid, I'm telling you. That spine, key positions, they've kept every one of them under the
stuck
pump.
solid. He sacked 6 blokes.
Yeah, but-
how's he stuck solid? Give me a break.
What did you want him to do? Pick the same
No,
team?
fair. I don't have a problem with
You
it.
would have had a crack at him no matter what, or the selection no
Would I?
matter what.
No,
Well,
wouldn't.
everyone's entitled, and all of us have had our opinions, and I've been critical of them too.
Yeah, but you can't say he's stuck solid. He hasn't stuck solid.
I think he means
I
stuck solid
I
with
said
his
stuck
spine.
solid in key positions, and they're the most important when it comes down. They're going to win you or lose you a game. Yeah. So that's all I'm saying. Staggs and Kohler also dropped for Crichton and Best. Thoughts on this, Gordy?
A little bit hard done, but I thought Kohler was probably going to open up in game 1 when he got taken out, and I thought Staggs had a pretty good year, and obviously defensively they were going down his side. I think he can feel a little bit undone by. Like, I think anybody that misses out, you know, when the series is 1-1, you know, and I think Katoni's had a great year, myself, personally.
Yeah, he was off in Melbourne though, Gordy, to be fair. And I've got a rap on Katoni.
But you
I
can
think
come
he was
back
off
and
in
redeem
Melbourne.
yourself.
I'll ask you this, Doc, because you're pretty solid on this, right? Their attack was very bad in game 2, but all their changes are on the edges. Was it their edges that stuffed up in game 2 and cost them the game, or was it their spine, key playmakers that lacked creativity?
Well, it's probably a bit of everything, bro. They got 40 put on them, didn't they? I mean, their edges defensively were poor. Nathan was poor.
But who do you think's more responsible? Like, I'm just...
Oh, well, I'm not going to pinpoint any player being responsible for a loss in Origin. I think it's
you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but you know, I thought Nathan was poor. Mitchell was poor. The edges were poor. Yeah,
That's kind of my point, you know.
But there were multiple people that could shoulder some of the blame. But yeah, I think the fact that Nathan was so poor last weekend for Penrith and Mitchell was so poor for Parramatta, they're coming into the game out of form per se, but with a point to prove. They cannot play that badly again.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Ooh, get the popcorn out, eh? Bradman Best is not intimidated by playing at Suncorp with the star centre to return for the decider.
Yeah, I love it. I love the hostile environment. I think it brings the best out of everyone. So, yeah, for us, it's to go out there and perform. And, yeah, I can't wait. I love playing at Suncorp. Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Bradman Best, quick touch, I'll get to it because we didn't mention it. Kohler, I thought he was unlucky. Yeah. We'll get to Bradman Best because I don't think he was poor in games 1 and 2, and that's kind of what I was alluding to there. But Bradman Best, 2 Origins, 2 wins, won the decider in 2024.
Made that big long run.
You know, he was good on the weekend without being great, and the week before he was okay. So he's not bringing great form in, but they've gone to him, you would think, because when he has stepped up onto the big stage and the bright lights of State of Origin, he has delivered, Gordy.
Yeah, look, he's a big body. I reckon he's hard to handle. Every time he's put on a Blues jersey, he's delivered. So I reckon they've gone back to that. You know, if they're going to make a change and there's a 50-50 decision, well, you throw him in there because he's never let that jersey down.
He scored that great try in 2014 to win, or set up the win up there at Suncorp. I think you've got to point out, boys...
2014?
24.
What was he, 12?
24, sorry. I think you've got to point out it doesn't necessarily be based around club form for Origin. It's a different beast, Origin. Just because you're out of form in club footy doesn't mean you can't rise to the standard. If you're an elite player over many years,
I agree with that.
You are an Origin player. If your form is average going into it, it doesn't mean that you'll take that in there. You rise to the occasion, and that's what a lot of these blokes do. That's where, like Liam Martin, for example, Bradman Best, they'll go up that level because they're playing with the elite.
Liam Martin, you know what you're going to get.
Absolutely.
That was a tough call on Tolu Kula, though. I mean,
It was, absolutely.
As I said, when they brought Jack Bostock in the wing, I would have had Tommy there. But alternatively, I may have played him in the centres rather than Bradman Best. I think it's... and if you work...
You're not a fan of Bradman, are you? This goes way back with when Brandy...
Well, that's not... No, that's disrespectful,
You're being disrespectful,
Well, I mean, I think, Tolu Kula didn't really get a chance to show what he can do in Origin. Because, obviously game 1, we all know what happened there. And in game 2... New South Wales were on the back foot the whole game. I think it's a tough call on Tolu Kula.
He's still in the squad, to be fair, but he's not starting.
He's on an extended bench. He's probably not going to get in the game, is he?
Great to see Stephen Crichton back. I know you mentioned it earlier, but his game on the weekend at 5'8" for the Bulldogs was unreal, and he seems to be not as affected by that injury and playing really freely. And he stepped up since not playing game 1, and this is big because he's just a big moment player. That's why the
himself
Dogs
in the
have got
right
him playing 5'8", because he can handle it. He can handle anything.
He finds himself in the right position. He's the one that picked up the ball and threw it to Strange. He's he's a great defender. He's such a big, imposing guy on the edge. I was surprised that he wasn't in game 2 because, you know, after that game he said that's the best his shoulder felt, but now he's back for game 3.
There's an element of risk about him as well, though, Brad.
What is that? What's the risk?
Well, his shoulder's a bit dodged, right? We saw that the other day.
He's good to go.
Just telling you.
All right. Cleary,
Dr. Reid.
This is an interesting stat. Nathan Cleary's yet to win a decider. And you know, we talk about it every year, and this, if there's ever an opportunity now, and I talk about trust and belief and Laurie having faith in his spine, this is the man who, you know, the last 20 minutes of game 1 won New South Wales the game. Now he has a chance to really just ice a game that no one really expects them to win.
Well, I wrote in that column, he's the one thing that scares me, right? Because, as Doggy said, he was horrific in game 2, missed 11 tackles, was completely off all night. And he can never play like that again, Nathan Cleary. So he is the one, for me, you look at that New South Wales side, you go, yeah, it's a better team, but Nathan's the one bloke who I go, he could decide the outcome of this game on his own. He's that good.
He could.
And I think if he does it, you know, I've been as loud a critic as anyone of his inability to own Origin, right? I've said it over and over again. I think it's the one thing he hasn't done in his career. If he takes New South Wales up there, they win. He'll probably win the Wally Lewis medal. Yeah. He's done. The debate about immortality is over.
Totally.
Tell me what the debate is. Is it the fact he hasn't won a decider? Is that it? Or is it the entire...
I think that's part of it, yes.
He has dominated Origin in multiple games over multiple years. We talk about Nathan as if he's bumbled and fumbled around every year. It's garbage. It's absolute Tommy rot. But he hasn't won the decider.
Tommy rot, what's that?
I don't know.
Well, it's another way of saying rubbish.
Okay. Showing your age.
So is that, though, the one angle left that he hasn't got?
Yeah, for me it is.
The decider,
for me, I mean,
that's it.
he's got to win a Dally M, right? He'll probably do that this year. But for me, it's the one. It's the one thing we talk about owning an Origin series. It's about winning deciders. It's about putting the state in your back and carrying it over the line, and he can do that. And this is as good an opportunity as he will ever get going to Suncorp.
It's icing on the cake.
It is. That's what it is.
It's sprinkles.
Yeah.
It's a cherry. It's not his career. It's not his Origin.
He doesn't need to do it, but he'd sure as hell shut everyone up if he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he wouldn't have to listen to reading.
But I mean, it's true, right? I mean, we talk about it.
We're talking about it because I just mentioned it.
Yeah.
4 deciders, I think it is, or something, like whatever, 3 or 4, and hasn't got it done.
But you know, you want to be an immortal of this game, and he probably will be one day, regardless of what happens at Origin. But this is the one nagging question for me, right? And he can end it on Wednesday.
All right, Martin has come back in as we spoke too, and Olakau'atu on the bench. So he's back in the team, but they're starting with Martin, Olakau'atu to come off the bench. You like?
Well, they're both dominant, right? I thought Olakau'atu, that was the best 20 minutes from a back rower starting on the weekend that I've seen in a long, long time.
Would you start him or have him on the bench?
It doesn't matter because I reckon they'll play the same sort of minutes. But Liam Martin, sitting in the dressing room when he was back last week, it looked like he was going to a world title fight. So both of those guys you want in your corner, and they're going to share the field at some stage, or maybe replace each other.
Yeah.
Well, he loves it, doesn't he, Liam Martin? He loves going up to Suncorp, getting in Cam Munster's face.
But he brings out the best
annoying
in us
people.
too.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he just loves the theatre of Origin. He gets it. And
He'll be fired up.
He will. He won't let New South Wales down.
I love Homoli. I think he's about my favourite player in the whole competition.
Your eyes just sparkled.
Yeah,
when you
did,
said
didn't
that.
they?
He's a beast.
Would you start him off the bench?
I'd leave him where he is. I'd start with Liam, and as I said earlier, I'd give Liam 30 minutes and then bring Homoli on, whether Liam comes back possibly later in the game. But I think if Homoli comes on after 30...
The only thing, which is a win-win for New South Wales, if Martin starts well, they'd be tempted to leave him on there. You know, and then Homoli could find himself sort of, where do you put him if you're not putting him on the edge? You know?
Braith, you're the expert.
Well, not sure about that.
What do you see the bench for the Blues? How do you see it unfolding? I mean, do we think Ethan Strange will get into the game?
I think Ethan may not play.
Brayley might be the odd man out again?
That's my point. Brayley, you have to, all right? Now, there's a stat, and we'll bring it up after this, but Brayley has to come on. I'd play Robson for 25, bring Brayley on. Murray's got to start. I'm not going to go there again.
There's a bit of mail that he might start. Mate.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Who, Cam Murray?
yeah, no one of any...
I'm adamant he will.
Well, it's not the coach telling me. I'm just saying there's just a bit of mail around that he might start.
It's about time you broke a story.
So there you go. So that will keep
The
you
only
happy.
thing is like there could be a scenario where Strange and Hamole don't get on. I mean, because if Martin's killing it, they've got enough middles, whether you bring Yo back and Barnett and Murray and all that, because he can play middle or an edge, whatever. Well, I think Hamole will get a start. I'm not saying he won't, but there could be a scenario. Strange they may not use if they don't need him. If they're going well,
It's a
where are they
luxury,
going to
isn't
put
it?
him? Where are they going to put him?
I think at that bench, Brayley definitely plays. Fanua Blake definitely plays. Cam Murray definitely plays of that
Yes,
bench.
yeah, yes.
So then the other spot's up for grabs.
Brayley's come in for Kyrosel. Let's have a look at this stat that we looked at today. And it shows us that when New South Wales play their hookers for 80 minutes, they lose. So this is
Good stat.
since 2020, when they've played their hookers for 80 minutes from 7 games, they've lost 7. So if this doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. All right? Can you just phone call? Something?
Hopefully he hasn't. Hopefully Laurie hasn't seen that.
There's not a whole lot of grey in that stat, is there?
No.
There isn't. All right, let's get to Queensland. Huh? Billy Slater shut down talks around his future as Queensland coach with a decider approaching.
Yeah, it was welcome news for myself as well over the weekend. Learning that Paddy was available. Obviously I think he's about 5 weeks post ankle surgery and he's done really well with his rehab. If Pat Carrigan wasn't in this footy team, he'd be looking to play for the Broncos this weekend. So that's where he sits.
But uncontracted beyond the end of this series? Like, is this your last game in charge? Where's your future lie?
Yeah, no, I don't think so, but I don't know. I won't be signing another contract. This is not a contract job for me. I really enjoy helping this group of men go and inspire our people of Queensland. And when that changes or someone in the QRL think that there's another person better for the job, well, I'm all for that as well.
You just said you won't sign another contract. You didn't start the handshake sort of deal with the QRL. Is that how it operates?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing like a good old handshake. Billy,
the good old days,
yeah, the good old
Where's your
days.
bond?
Exactly good.
No, he'll look. To me, as much as I know Billy, he'll never let the state down, and he's always said that. Obviously, the white elephant in the room is what's going to happen at Melbourne.
Before we get to Melbourne, though, coming to you, Gordy, what I love about that is it's the perception too. Like for the players in Queensland looking at their coach saying he's not there to just sign a multi-year deal and get his money, and it's irrelevant to him. He's there for his state.
Yeah,
and he will sign a
He always
just a
says the
handshake
people of
1 year.
Queensland, and that's been the motto. Without going too much into it, when you go into the inner sanctum, what Queensland play for, and Billy typifies that. And that statement for me, I'm not worried. I'd love him to say, "Yeah, I'm going to sign a 10-year deal," but I know that if Queensland need him, he'll certainly.
It's back in your own ability as a coach too. Storm boy. What's going on with Craig down there in Melbourne? Because there were a few murmurs floating around them chasing. Well, they're strong murmurs about them chasing Billy, and especially after hearing this, he's not signing contracts with Queensland.
Yeah.
Does he have maybe that Melbourne Storm job in his sights?
Well, look, I think it depends on Craig, Braith. And I think at the moment in Craig's head, he wants to go around again next year. Is the way I understand it. They will meet him in the next few weeks, probably after Origin's over. They'll sit down with Craig and have a chat about next year. But as I understand it, right now, Craig wants to go on next year, and Melbourne will not shove him out the door, right? They'll leave the ball in Craig's court. I'd imagine they'll put a bit more support around him, given what he's going through. And maybe part of that is some sort of hybrid model where Billy can help Craig and do Origin.
Yeah. Do we know if Billy is interested in the job at least?
No, we don't know. We don't
know that.
But he is. Look, if Craig decides at the end of the year he's walking away, they will move heaven and
It
earth.
looks like the perfect
to get
fit
Billy
to
to do the job.
Like you look at Billy's a club legend, of course.
Yeah.
He knows the systems. He still helps out down there. He's close with Craig, and if anyone's going to hand the baton over, and take that baton, it's going to be Billy off Craig. That's how I see it. They'd throw the kitchen sink at him.
Yes, they will.
So it's going to be up to Billy, really. You think?
And it'd be the perfect storm, though, wouldn't it?
Oh,
One of his
that was
great
good.
proteges.
That
You like that? I actually didn't think about that, but it was.
That's what was good.
Because normally you come up with rain depressions.
If Billy walks away, it's Craig. If Craig walks away, it's Billy's job, right? It's Billy's job, and it'll be up to him whether he takes it or not.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the team. Gordy, what do you think of this, mate?
Yeah, I like it. Obviously we didn't need to change too much from from game 2. It's about whether we go out there and deliver, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those guys.
Well, it's proven, isn't it? So.
Yeah, in game 2, just the way that they defended and the way Dog started off the show. You know, like we know that New South Wales will come up there, and I am a little bit worried because the pressure and the criticism that they've come under when it's 1-1 in a series has been, you know, a fair bit of motivation.
It's unusual.
And you don't need too much motivation for Origin, but there's a fair bit of motivation.
But usually we're sitting here and it's the shoe's on the other foot. Like honestly, we're going, well, Queensland this and
they're
Queensland
underdog.
that, Queensland. But it's been all the Blues, which I like that it's reversed.
I don't know why we're bothering even playing.
Oh no!
Why?
Don't go
Well,
too
you know
far.
that they're the hot favourites. According to everybody out there on the entire planet and on Mars, New South Wales can't win the game. It's all about
You
Queensland.
just said that I'm going to win at the beginning of the show, so not everybody.
New South Wales.
It looked like you come from Mars
I
too.
want to ask you a question too.
Who's you, me?
You. Yeah. If Queensland lose,
Yeah.
are you going to bag Billy for losing the unlosable series? Because this is Queensland's unlosable series. You were quick to jump on Laurie last year.
Yeah.
Would you do the same for Billy this year?
Well, there is a distinct difference between the two coaches.
Well, how's it?
Well, Billy's record, for starters, is way better.
I'm not worried about
Laurie
last year or the
Daley's.
year before. Forget about that. I don't give a
Billy's
stuff.
record commands a little bit more respect than Laurie's.
So is this the unlosable for Queensland though?
Yes, it is.
So if they lose, you will concede that.
If they
and acknowledge
lose,
it.
Billy's botched it.
Thank you.
Potentially, yes.
All right.
Queensland has botched
Did
it.
we get that
yes.
on tape?
Because they shouldn't
This
lose
game's
to
on
me.
a knife's edge, and so was game 2, and so was
well,
game
not
1.
really. I mean, it's at Suncorp Stadium, but he sold out.
Okay.
We belted them in Origin 2. They've been a mess through 2 games. They fluked game 1. Right, Queensland. I've said that over and over. Queensland should really, on paper and on performances,
Do you know
Queensland
the good thing
should
about that? The
cruise
game's
to
not-
victory.
The game's
Gordon.
never played on paper.
Based on performance we've seen,
performance. Keep going.
based on what we've
Let
seen in the
him
opening
keep
2
going.
games,
Beautiful music to my
Queensland
ears.
should win in a canter.
Keep
They should
going.
run away with it.
Keep going.
Based on what we've seen in the opening 2 games.
Carrigan returns after a month out. Gordy, yeah, he had to come back in, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, the way Paddy, he's a true professional. Between he and Payne, you know, finished first and everything that they do at the club. So you think he would have been ultra professional and 20, 30 minutes, 25 minutes, you think that he'll get through that at that level?
What about Lindsay Collins? Why has he missed out?
Well, he had that HIA at the weekend, Brace, so I don't think he would have been in protocols for most of the build-up. So I think Billy just decided to go with, obviously, Pat's back and fit and ready to go.
But, you know, I was thinking about that today. Lindsay played great in game 2.
He's been fantastic.
But it's my understanding that it's no physical contact.
I don't think you can do contact if you're in.
So couldn't he still train and just not just sit out the physical stuff and he'll be sweet for game 3 or not?
Could be, I haven't done the arithmetic in my head though, both. When could he have done with the 11-day turnaround? When could he have done contact before the game?
Probably the 11th day. Yeah. I think there's no contact in it. You've got to wear a bib for the 11th day.
I don't think he would have been able to do any contact, would he?
Yeah.
But he has had a history of head knocks, Lindsay, so I'm sure that weighed into Billy's.
Safe.
Freddie, what about the injury? Who's returning here? Who was I looking at before?
Carrigan.
Carrigan, sorry. There he is, number 15.
He's there.
And Nanai's in as well.
You were saying the Blues have got some injury concerns about unfit players. Are you putting Carrigan in the same bracket?
Well, probably. He hasn't played, has he? So, yeah, there's got to be a little cloud over Pat. But, I mean, he's come off the bench and only have to play 20 minutes.
All right, it was an epic Super Saturday, but it was the first game that stole the show. The Dolphins and Warriors battled it out in a blockbuster match that came right down to the dying moments.
Pictures here from the Fox cameras.
This is what this game's about. Look at the passion. Look what it means to the kid. Oh, Selwyn Cobo delivers for the Dolphins. Sideline conversion to take the lead. You want players like Jermaine Asako with the ball on boot. Jermaine Asako for the Dolphins to take the lead. He just doesn't miss. The Dolphins are back in front.
What a game this was. So much anticipation, and boy, did it deliver. 2 of the red-hot teams in form going toe-to-toe, and it was an absolute cracker on Super Saturday, Gordy.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually landed from New Zealand and just listened to it and watched the last bit and end to end. You know, like in Queensland, there was 100,000 in 3 games. And that there was rocking, like, mate, driving past the amount of people that were coming. Both of these sides are going to play finals. Both of these teams are going to play finals.
Both of these teams can win they can win the comp, both these teams.
Absolutely, when they go on a roll. I think the Dolphins have had one of those, you know how they have that performance every 5 weeks? That's slowly getting out of their game and losing Katoa.
Yeah, that hurts.
You know, it's how they manage that over the next little...
Well, what's the go with Katoa? A wrist fracture, I believe.
Yeah.
How long?
Is it at least a month, I think, Braith? He'll be out for. So
Pins or... Is he going to have surgery on it?
Yeah, he's going to see a surgeon. So a bit of a blow for them, obviously, but they've got a lot of depth. The Dolphins, one thing they do have is depth. Got a lot of depth. And Cody Nicarima's been outstanding for them. So
he has been.
You know, I think they should be able to cover for him.
Big opportunity for Cody too. Off contract at the moment.
Yeah.
They haven't re-signed him. We've spoken about that quite a bit.
Would you re-sign him at the Dolphins?
100.
Do you think he's the must for Katoa and his development?
Yes. I think the Dolphins would admit they pulled the trigger too early. George Williams, getting him long ago.
Agree.
Cody and him have evolved, and Isaiah have evolved in their combination, and they just complement each other, mate. Like, you know, Isaiah takes control, game manager, great tempo, awesome execution, and then he's that live wire, 2 passes wide, who has got speed and can also play short or long and creates opportunities for this guy, Selwyn Cobbo. They have to re-sign him. I don't know why it hasn't been done yet. Have we got any mail on that?
Well, I think they're in talks with him, Braith, but obviously...
Been hearing that for a while.
Yeah, he's obviously got a dollar figure, and I'd imagine they're limited in what they can pay him, given they've signed George Williams for $800,000 a year or so, or whatever it is.
And he'd have all the new franchises and everyone after him, wouldn't he?
People are sniffing around him. I'm sure he wants to stay, but...
You got any input here?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I thought the Dolphins were resilient, Braith. The Warriors hit the front with, 3 to go, and the crowd was going berserk with all those Warriors fans. I thought that was game, but they came back again through the final punch, and they did it with 60 minutes without Katoa.
Yeah.
So it shows that he's the gun, he's the playmaker, but they can win without him. And that was an important psychological...
The Dolphins have got better as the year's gone on, and the Warriors, well, they're back again, and they're ready for this year, and they're a big chance. Stick around, journos, tonight following NRL 360. It's the latest edition of Matty and Cronk and Kevin Walters, the special guest.
Hey boys, no Matthew Johns gallivanting around the globe again. Rolled in the big guns for the Origin decider. Another Queenslanders only.
Queenslanders only show us back.
Wasn't it?
Oh, it was a ripper, mate. Ratings were through the roof, Coop.
Big dive into Origin, go Queensland.
I had to do everything that I possibly could to make it.
Gordon was the best young talent. You know, he was the alpha male.
Oh, gee, there's a punch up on him, back play.
Wayne come to me and said, Broncos don't do that.
Don't talk to me, just go.
Like, it was honestly like hitting the side of a building.
Brian certainly got under my skin. You're going to sit out the year. He goes, well, just be a man of your word then. And that was it.
Most players would not have done that.
You know, we've had struggles all of our life.
You know, one of his great assets was he was fearless. He had no fear. And that all changed.
Shit. Well, I didn't even know that.
If I was playing against him, I reckon I would have been thinking about the night before, this is what I'm going to go up against.
Because they're expecting the Raging Bull.
I don't think he had to do anything like that to make us proud, because the fight he fought when he was 5 months old was good enough for me.
Gordon, tell us! Gordon, tell us!
I used to tell my mum that I'm going to play for Australia one day.
Determination from Big Gordon, tell us!
For us to have any chance of winning up there, he couldn't start.
Could you imagine telling me that?
Tell us! The Raging Bull!
No matter what, no matter where you hit him, it's going to hurt.
He'll always be Michael.
Your teammates and the people around you make you who you are.
Welcome back. This Sunday night, the Raging Bull premieres. And Gordy, you've got a great story to tell. I can see you getting a little bit emotional there in that clip, but how'd you go filming this one, mate?
Yeah, it was good. Well, Charlie and Vici, the boys upstairs that do all the promos, they saw me at the Gordon Tallis Cup and they said, can we do a story? And I think they went to Steve, and 3 or 4 days we spent driving around North Queensland, going back, and I didn't realise, and that emotion, I think I just got caught up talking about family and the reason why you do things in life, but looking forward to it.
You as a Queenslander, you always tell us that you're a Queenslander. You would have loved this bloke, wouldn't you?
Oh, mate, he was a champion, wasn't he? I tell you, I mean, obviously, I was a Broncos fan, grew up a Broncos fan. but I covered Gordy a lot of Gordy's career. I'll tell you what, I had a steak with him a month ago. We went to SK Steak in Brisbane. Spent about an hour and a half with him. That's my best memory of Gordy. Spent an hour with him and just chilling.
No, we love you, mate. Looking forward to this one.
I'll never spend an hour with you, dog.
Why? You never shower, I know that.
I'm going to put it on there.
It's in North Queensland.
I'm going to put it on there, right? He loves Laurie.
Mate, very,
we had a bet.
very tight.
We had a bet, one Origin, right? And I think it was a schooner and Origin.
I paid you back.
You have not bought one.
I remember.
And we were 4 weeks
All right,
together.
let's move on, you
Let's
two.
move on.
I'm not coming to dinner with either after. Reedy Kerapani, he's been dropped again. What's happening to him now?
Well, where do we start, bro? I mean, he was pulled over going 190 in the 100 zone. He didn't have his P plate showing. He was unregistered, uninsured. He blew .037. When you're on your Ps, you've got to be 0. So it's a litany of errors by Josiah Karapani. It's not the first time he's let the club down. He had an incident earlier this year in the Valley in Brisbane. So he's obviously out of the team this week, and he's on very thin ice. Well, shocking timing.
Given where the Broncos are at right now.
Yeah, it's terrible.
They don't need this.
The thing is, too, he's a bloody good player.
Yeah.
When he's on.
But all young kids make mistakes, right?
Of course they do. But
He's
this
made
is the second one, though.
Yeah, he's made a couple, Gordy.
Get to 3 and just back on.
Gone from winning a grand final to missing the finals. What's happened, guys?
Well, it's not official yet, Braith. There's still a mathematical hope. I don't think any of us think they can get there. Look, I mean, obviously they've had some injuries, but every side gets injuries. I mean, things. Well, it's hard, right? Because we seem to find ourselves talking about the same things we were talking about at this point last year. They obviously turned around last year, but this year it seems like
isn't it a bit later now?
It's a bit later now, and it just feels like the club's spiralling and has been spiralling for some time now. And obviously there's stories coming out of the place about players being unhappy, which we've heard before in relation to Michael Maguire and some of his methods. So we just got to see.
There are more stories coming out still.
Well, there are. I mean, there has been basically all year, Braith, and that hasn't changed. There were some conversations held last week. There was talk about an honesty session today. I checked with the club, that wasn't right, but they did have. Payne Haas spoke about the meetings they had last week about the footy club at the moment, and they're in a hole, and I'm not sure where this is going to end.
Has the pressure just got to them, do you think, Gordy?
Yeah, well, they're still a pretty young side, and I think the grand final last year, if you ball it back, and we were talking about it in the green room, they probably weren't the best side all year. Like they weren't, but the last 6 weeks, they were the hottest side in the world, and they probably got in a false sense of security this year. And then at the Titans game last year, when they wore the black jerseys, that's when they turned their season around and the Titans snuck one away from them. And I think that they're really down on confidence at the moment. It's just, they just don't seem to have the same spark.
No, they don't.
And that style of confident football that they were playing last year, where we will beat you no matter what the score is, no matter what time they go. We're going to have a crack, and they've seemed to have lost that.
They seem to have lost their hunger, their attitude, their will to win, their desire. I mean, you could keep going for an hour on what the Broncos need to find. It's too late now. I've said on this show 3 weeks ago, they're gone. They're well and truly gone.
Yeah.
Do you know it's the worst losing streak, 7 in a row, by a defending premier since 1953? Western Suburbs. That's 73 years ago. That's a really...
That was that season,
you would have been playing. Is that really abhorrent stat? Isn't it? The worst in 73 years.
Reedy, has the pressure got to Madge? Have you, I heard some rumours today coming out of Brisbane. A few people, I don't know if it's true or not. But you.
Well, there was a suggestion last week. I can't work out whether this was at a meeting or a training, but Madge got quite emotional with the playing group. And look, I mean, Madge is an emotional guy, right? That's part of the way he coaches the footy team. He's emotional. We've seen him after press conferences talking about how much he loves his players and loves the footy club. And apparently last week got to a point where he was, if not in tears, on the verge of tears last week, talking to the players about how much love he has for them and how he wants them to achieve what they did the year before. Look, I don't think it's a I don't think it's a massive issue.
Coach being emotional.
I think.
That's just my opinion. Good on him.
Yeah. I would say it's another example of the extremity, the extremes with Madge, right? I think this is part of the predicament they're in, that everything is like emotions and the mental strain is at its very hot, it's intense, right? Everything about it is intense.
Really,
And
I'll ask you a question for
yeah.
the Broncos fans. Can he get them out of it?
Well, he can't this year, no. I don't think he can. I've been one of the guys who's backed them from the start, but I don't think he can get out of them from here. I think it's too far gone.
Will they re-sign him?
Well, I don't know. It's going to be a big off-season. They've got some big decisions to make. And, Gordy, we've spoke about this on the weekend, and I can't remember who said it to me, and they said, well, if they sack him in the off-season, it's been a failure or it's been a mistake. Hasn't been a mistake because they won a premiership, and that's what he was brought there to do. That's been done now. So if you have to go your separate ways in the off-season, I think there is a chance that could happen.
No chance in hell.
Well,
they've had one bad year and they won a premiership.
But you've got
But
players...
how many other coaches over time have had a poor year after or as the defending premier coach? They didn't get sacked a year later.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there, Reedy.
I understand what you're saying, but
you said on the weekend there'd be a mass exodus.
Well, look, players are under contract, so that's difficult, right? But they've got some guys who've got they're November 1 guys who are obviously haven't re-signed yet. Some of them are pretty significant names at the footy club. There's other rumours about other players that are unhappy. I think. Do
you think players are waiting to see if he signs or not?
I think I don't think there's any doubt about that.
So
I don't think that's just the November 1 guys. I think there's players there who are on longer-term deals who are waiting to see what happens in this off-season.
So the players that were deliriously happy at winning a grand final this year are now 8-9 months later grossly unhappy. And it's to do with the same person?
Well, they were grossly unhappy at times last year, Doggy.
Well, they weren't too unhappy.
Buzz was banging on about it for weeks on this show.
Well, they weren't too unhappy because they managed to conjure up enough to win a premiership, for goodness sake.
But, they managed
but sometimes the dressing room can get together. Sometimes the players can do that.
Maybe the players should get together and talk about themselves rather than flinging mud at the coach.
They did have talks through last week. They had talks. Payne Nast led discussions about this situation.
Well, he's leaving anyway.
I was going to say it's a bit hard when Payne's leaving the joint. But, Doggy, we can talk about, they got it together last season, right? And they climbed the mountain, won a comp. But now it's happening again this season. At some point it wears you down. Like, you can't just keep pulling together for the sake of the players, right? You need something else, something else has got to drag their side together. They haven't got it at the moment.
I believe Payne Haas is probably one of the most resilient players. I think the player game in the modern, for he to walk away, right, with some of those other players, right, that means Madge has to change who he is. If he changes who he is, he goes away from the fabric that's made him Madge Maguire.
I think it's important to point out that I think it's, Doggy, I'm a bit like you. I think it's unlikely they go their separate ways in the off-season. But if they do, this shouldn't be looked at, as I said, as a failure, right? He's won a comp. Definitely. And Madge can go to he'll get a job somewhere else if they go their separate ways because he's a two-time premiership winner in this country. And he's shown he knows what it takes to win a premiership.
I just get the feeling, sorry, Braith, I just get the feeling with any coach that might have the Michael Maguire mindset of being tough, strong, and the exterior of being hardened, it's a 3-4 year plan. That's when it wears you down. But 2 years, it's very, very short.
All right, let's take a look at the nominees for our sports bet player of the round. Stephen Crichton at 5'8" for the Dogs with 3 try assists. Herbie Farnworth for the Dolphins, 11 tackle busts. He's been great all year. Amole Olakau'atu, 2 tries to start the game off the other night. Up next, it's the Monday mailbag. And tomorrow night, following NRL 360, it's face-to-face with Brett Kenny. Welcome back. It's time now for our favourite segment, the Monday mailbag.
When did this start?
Last week when you weren't here.
Right.
We bagged you too.
Yeah, you copped
9
it.
letters.
All right, first one. Luke at Redfern Smoker. Question: why does Cooper Cronk keep making jokes?
Are they jokes?
He's become very funny, Cooper. Haven't you noticed?
Yeah, no, I've
Friday Night Footy on 5.
I like him, mate. He always has
like Jerry Seinfeld
every time he sits on.
No, he laughs at his own jokes too, by the way. Next one. Luke S. via email. Should Bears be doing more to keep Nikorima?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, obviously the Bears would be trying everything, and I think he'd be a great signing there. But if I'm the Dolphins, for the development of that young guy, I can't let him go.
Yeah, I think it'd be a handy signing for the Bears, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
anybody.
How much do they spend on George Williams? Do we know?
Yeah, 800 a pound.
Swap him.
Yeah.
Geez, I'd like that decision again, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they've got that wrong.
And the halves are, the current halves, Toby Sexton, Tyron Wishart.
Yeah.
Can't remember who else they've signed. You can fit Nikorima in there.
All right, Luca at Toxic City. What weaknesses do Queensland have that New South Wales should exploit.
Reedy's big mouth is a weakness. Gordy's arrogance, is that a weakness?
Oh, wow.
It could just be confidence.
I think what they got to do,
Could be
and this is a bit controversial for me, but they haven't gone at their three men, their halves. They haven't put pressure on Cameron or Sammy Walker for the first two games. Like, they haven't had to have Hamole or big back rowers running at them with options either side, or, you know, like, they really haven't got. They've been way too.
Did you write
deep.
that question?
I haven't. I'm answering because to be honest with you, there's not a hell of a lot the way they played in game two. They don't have many weaknesses.
Generally, no
They haven't.
weaknesses in Origin.
Sammy Walker hasn't really been challenged in this.
They haven't been challenged, and this could be
He's
the
up for
game.
it.
That's why, you know, they brought Liam Martin in as well. I would imagine. Schooner McGavin, who has the hottest seat at the moment, Sticky or Madge?
Oh, I think Madge, Ricky's pretty safe down in Canberra. It's part of the fabric of that club.
Is he under any pressure though? Because I get messages a lot about Sticky.
Sure.
It's like, well, how come everyone's
cold down in Canberra?
The only pressure on Ricky is the pressure Ricky puts on himself. I mean, he is so deeply embedded.
When
in
does the
that
pressure
club.
start then?
Oh, he's under pressure every week.
No, but like just say they continue the way they are this week, this year.
There's no pressure at all.
Next year they don't start well. He's still sweet, yeah.
The board down there love Ricky.
Okay.
And they love him for multiple reasons, including the fact that he makes Canberra relevant.
Okay.
And he's a fighter and he's tough and they love him. So I don't think he's under any pressure whatsoever.
All right, Riley G. Will Ivan work as New South Wales coach?
That's a question for you guys.
Well, of course he would. He's an elite coach. The only problem New South Wales might have is if Laurie stands down, and that's the mo we're hearing, Ivan's there in 2028, there's a gap year.
Yeah.
And that gap year can be a bit awkward.
I think he will, right? I think he will. But it's not a given. And we've seen that in the past.
Good coaches are good coaches.
Yeah, I know that.
Craig
But
Bellamy is one of the greatest
That's
ever.
right. Bellyache.
Didn't really work for him.
And you look at our criticism
He was
sometimes.
coaching against these boys. How many secrets did he give away?
He was.
There are criticisms too when you talk about Laurie about the lack of emotion and passion and Ivan's a very cool, calm and collected.
Measured as well.
Measured.
Yeah.
I think it will work, but it's not. It's never a guarantee.
I would also say, Braith, we often talk about the Penrith way doesn't work at
that's another
Origin
thing.
level.
That's another thing.
Club footy doesn't work at Origin.
I'm just putting it out there. It's not a certainty.
All right. Ben H. Gordy, have you seen improvement in the Titans since Hene's joined?
I have. It's not in the results yet, but I've seen a lot of great work off the field. We're putting in a lot of, work, and I can see it slowly turn. Like, we've been unlucky in a couple of games, but in about 6 to 8 months, you're going to see the real Titans.
I think they've improved a lot.
What are you laughing at, Dog? Mate, I'll invite you to a game. Mate, I'll invite you to a game.
at you.
The weekend wasn't good though.
No.
They were poor on the
I
weekend.
missed that game. I was in New Zealand.
Lucky you did. This question comes from Aaron Gox. Let's take a look.
I'm just wondering, why don't we see the mousetrap play anymore? One of my favourite plays I used to see back in the old days, the mousetrap.
I think that's
the mousetrap. Hey, he loves the mousetrap. Why don't we see the mousetrap anymore?
Maybe they should bring it back, Braith.
Yeah.
Is it legal? Is
Yeah,
it legal?
allowed to do it, yeah.
Okay, why not bring it back?
We should do it at the Dragons all the time.
Yeah.
It was a mousetrap. Brian Smith loved it.
Laurie should try it in Origin.
Oh, that'd go down well.
What about Big Aaron? Love him.
How good.
He's a shave.
All right, thanks, Journos. Oh, Reedy, thank you very much. See you, doggy.
Pleasure.
All right, tonight following us, it's the latest edition of Maddie and Cronk, and it's with Kevin Malters. Welcome back. Our sports bet player of the round is Hamole Olakuatu with 48% of the vote. He had to win that one, didn't he, Gordy?
49%.
49, there you go. There's another one. That's it for NRL 364 tonight. Now it's time for Maddie and Cronk.